First thing, don't make up rules that you're not going to follow. If you have a whole bunch of rules that you're not following, get rid of them, because then that makes it okay not to follow the other rules. So then when you are in a dispute with an employee and you terminate them for not following the rules, they get to come into court and say, well, no one follows the rules. You don't follow this rule, you don't follow this rule, you don't follow this rule. And again, you can't get summary judgment and get out of the case. You have to go to a jury and say, well, just because we're not following those rules, is it okay that they don't follow these? And it becomes a lengthy and complicated process. Don't sign anything that you haven't read. The rule of thumb is it costs you about 100 times less to pay a lawyer on the front end than to pay the lawyer on the back end, and I'm not making that up, that's true. If you have an oral agreement, both sides are going to say, well, I said this, the other one says, I said this. There's no way a judge has the legal authority to decide that particular dispute, and so you're going the long haul in that case. Check references, and here's the reason. I've got these cases in here where someone hired someone, and it turns out, of course, they were a crook and they're stealing from them. And they didn't know that on the front end, so they hired him. Then they've got to try to get rid of the person. So they try to get rid of them. Well, if they're a crook, they're already going to be dishonest. So then they're going to sue you under the EEOC and say that you fired them because they were too old, they were the wrong sex, they had some disease. And then all of a sudden, not only have you paid them more than they're worth, and not only have they stolen your money, but you're paying a lawyer then to defend the case that they brought against you. What you need to check is call whoever they worked for the last 2 times. If you do those, you'd be shocked how much information you can get. The flip side, you'd be surprised how many people never do that. The main thing you have to write out is how does the money get split if one of the partners wants to leave. Your friends now, your partners now, everybody's going the same place, and somebody's life changes. And as a result, there gets a dispute about who's either bringing in more business or who's getting more money, and you end up in litigation. If you don't have it written what the terms of the partnership are, then that becomes a dispute, and a judge can't determine it. You have to go to a jury. Litigation is so horribly expensive. If you're going to litigate about something that's 10 or 20 grand, you're going to spend more in litigation costs, so you can probably resolve those matters. Both sides recognize that unless you just get in a fight with some idiot. It is so easy to avoid it on the front end and say, a paragraph, if this thing winds up, here's how the assets are split, here's the steps we're going to take to do it. And you can write that paragraph in a half an hour.